You just had a stroke. Your life has completely changed from the way that you knew it. You are now suffering from something called locked-in syndrome. You're paralyzed from your neck down and unable to speak, but completely aware of everything that's around you. You're trapped in your own body. Your existence is now dull, miserable, demeaning, undignified, and intolerable. Your only wish is to end the suffering. Your only wish is to die peacefully on your own terms. That is the very situation that Tony Nicholson has had to endure, and many others like him around the world. I took this topic on euthanasia for this speech because I believe everyone has that right to end their lives uh, safely. I mean that I don't mean that you get that right if you had a bad breakup or life's got you down and you hit rock bottom. I mean it if you have a painful or severely debilitating illness. It wasn't until doing extensive research on this topic that I realized that what's truly in store for most of us at the end of our later years of our lives. I'm going to outline the reasons why it's far more humane to allow this powerful choice to do for those who are suffering and condemn them to a life of suffering that you and I can even imagine right now. I hope this is as enlightening to you as it has been for me. So why is euthanasia important to individuals in society today? To start, it impacts literally everybody. One great certainty in life is that every single person at one point in time will take their last breath. People just don't die from terminal illness, they also live with it, as do their family members, their loved ones, their friends, and their doctors. Granting that right to seek assisted suicide and euthanasia will change how people live with terminal illness and how families will cope with their deaths, and how doctors will be able to administer care. In Oregon and Switzerland, studies have shown that people who request death are less motivated by physical pain and then by the desire to remain autonomous. As mentioned before, euthanasia isn't a choice that can be made because of a bad breakup or something along those lines. It is for those who are terminally ill and in chronic and unbearable pain. Regulating and putting guidelines in place helps keep an ethical practice and out of the path of being abused. It's better to have something legal and regulated than to have it illegal and done in unsafe and dangerous conditions. Belgium and Netherlands lead the world in this practice, and us in the United States have a great starting point for laws that have been put in place to ensure that euthanasia is concluded ethically. To start, in April 2002, the Netherlands became the first country to legalize assisted suicide and euthanasia. It imposed strict set of conditions. The patient must be suffering from unbearable pain. Their illness must be incurable. The demand must be full conscious. You have to be a resident of the Netherlands. Requests must be voluntary and well considered. Must have at least two physicians sign off on it. Belgium has got similar conditions as well. Patients must experience consent and unbearable suffering, either mental illness or physical. The condition must be incurable, and they must make their request in writing. Currently, in the United States, there are 5 states that allow assisted suicide and euthanasia, but it's still illegal as a whole. And doctors are allowed to prescribe in those states for lethal dose of medicine to terminally ill patients. Take California, for instance. Patients in California must be 18 years old or older, and they must have the decisional capacity and a terminal disease within 6 or less months to live. Now take a second and imagine yourself in either Tony Nicholson's skin or the millions around the world who suffer from some sort of chronic illness, painful, mental, debilitating disease. Euthanasia is not the coward's way out. Sometimes we don't have that ability to dictate every detail that happens in our lives, but it offers us that ability to leave this world on our own terms, with our dignity intact and no regrets. Nearly half of all Americans will die in a hospital, and 7 out of 10 will die from some sort of chronic disease. It may not be you that ends up in the hospital bed, but statistically, it'll be someone that you love and care for. This information that I laid out to you is an issue and that's been gaining steam for quite some time now. Many have been fighting for the right to be able to have access to the procedures like euthanasia or assisted suicide, and it's time for us to do our part and help. Get in contact with your local leaders and government representatives and push legislation for legal regulated euthanasia. Thank you.